Well, I know to understand the situation better, we're joined from Muscat, Oman by academic researcher and author Dr. Reza John Vedadi. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on Asia One. Well, Dr. Vedadi, how do you assess the current state of Iran-US relations, and are tensions rising, or is there still, let's say, room for diplomacy?
At the moment, the MOU, or the Memorandum of Understanding between Iran and the United States, is, as President Trump said, is dead, and many aspects of it are not being abided by. For example, recently we had the U.S. Treasury adding sanctions back on Iran, U.S. attacking Iranian bases. The United States has not handed over Iranian assets. And so this demonstrates that the Memorandum of Understanding was never applied. So the same with Iran, they have now decided to close the Strait of Hormuz, not allowing ships to go past, which demonstrates that the goodwill that Iran presented regarding this MOU, United States has wasted, along with many other agreements that Iran had with the United States.
And look, how important is the Strait of Hormuz for the global economy? And what would we know it is important, but from your perspective, and also what would happen if shipping there is disrupted?
So if the Strait of Hormuz continues to be closed, we know that many of the oil and the resources that come out of the Strait of Hormuz from the Persian Gulf, for example, the use of fertilizer for growing food, we know that that resources that come from the Persian Gulf impact jet fuel. So the airlines will have to raise their ticket prices. Diesel cost will go up. That would mean that the transport for food and other transport costs will go up, making food more expensive, transport more expensive. And this with inflation, which is being felt in Western Europe, in the United States and other parts of the world. And so by closing the Strait of Hormuz, Iran is capable of putting extreme pressure on the global economy and specifically on the United States without having to use its military.
Well, and Dr. Vedadi, could you talk also more about the options that Iran could have if pressure from the United States continues to increase, if there are any options left?
So Iran has various ways it can put pressure on the United States. One of them is through the obviously continuing to close the Strait of Hormuz, or only allowing certain ships, for example, maybe allied ships such as China, ships from Iran themselves, to leave. Another way of putting pressure on the United States and its allies is through the Strait of Bab el-Mandab, the area which is next to Yemen. And Yemen was able to close this area or restrict the use of this area, if you remember, around 2 years ago. And so Yemen, as an ally of Iran, is capable of adding extra pressure on top of the Strait of Hormuz. And that also doesn't include the Iranian military capabilities that's able to strike Israel and other bases of the United States within the West Asian region. So Iran has various aspects it can put pressure on the United States and its allies to try and come somehow to an agreement, or to try and remove the influence of the United States from the region.
Well, Dr. Vedadi, thank you so much for your insights.